Shalom and welcome to this week's Hebrew class. My name is Tom Howling and today's reading comes to you from Yehuchanan or Yochanan John chapter 9, and we will cover verses 21 to 25. So let us begin. And as I usually do, we have the Nakud, the valve marking chart, for anyone who's relatively new, and of course the resources which we would greatly encourage you to use. They are very helpful. So let us begin. And we're dealing with verse 21, and we see that all letters have a numerical value. So a kaf has a value of 20 and a lef has a value of 1, so we know we're in 21. And then we just repeat the letters. Aleph, Vayet, because there's no dot, Lamed, Aleph, Yod, Dalet, Ayin, Nun, Vav, Aleph, Yod, Kaf, so fit, Kaf at the end of a word, Hey, Vav, Aleph, Resh, Aleph, Hey, Ayin, Tav, Hey, Vav, Lamed, Aleph, Yod, Dalet, Ayin, Nun, Vav, Mem, and Yod. Just a few notes. Every letter that's in white is not pronounced. So where we see the Aleph or the Ayin and they're in white, they're not pronounced. And then we have the different vowel markings under it, which we will see. So we begin. A vowel, meaning but. Lo, not. Yada, nu, we know. Because the nu is we. Ache, meaning how. Who, he is. Ro-a, seeing. So I've translated that as a participle. And then we have ata, now. How he is seeing now. Velo, and not. Yada, nu, we know. Me, meaning who. And I've given you a few examples of the words. Ra'ah is a kol verb to see, to perceive. Re'ah means lung. I'm just showing you how the same spelling with a different vowel mark is a completely different word. And then I've given you also re'ut, which is a feminine noun meaning visibility or view. And re'ot is a masculine noun meaning view or vision. So we're just seeing some different words to add to our vocabulary. And the translation, that he was born blind, but we do not know how he sees now, and we do not know who. So let us just read that without any aids. Aval, lo, yada, nu, ache, hu, ro-a, ata, velo, yadanu, me. And of course the translation, but not we know how he is seeing now, and not we know who. And so we come to part B. And we have a fe, because there's no dot there. Kuf, chet, aleph, tav, ayin, yod, nun, vav. So Yod, Vav, Hey, Lamed, Aleph, Vayet, Nun, Sofit, Dalet, Ayin, Tav, Hey, Vav, Aleph, Shin, Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Aleph, Tav, Pei, this time, Yod, Hey, Vav. And we read it, Fakach, meaning opened. Now from the previous, not we know who opened. Et grammar marker, a naive, his eyes. Again, as you can see with the arrow, the vav indicates his, and often the yod will indicate plural, so therefore his eyes. Hello, and that's a questioning, hey? As I showed you here, hello, was it not, is it not? The hey is a questioning, hey? So therefore we've got is he not, because lo means not. Ven, meaning a son, and I've added of. Da'at, can be understanding or knowledge. Who, he. Sha'alu, you ask. Because it's like a second person translation, it's not third person. So you ask. So if we look down here, the root of it is sha'al, which is a cul verb to ask the question. And then it is et pi hu. Now pi meaning mouth, so it is his mouth. And the translation is, not we know who opened his eyes. Is he not a knowledgeable son? Ask his mouth. And we can see from da'at that you can use intelligence, understanding, logic, or knowledge. And so we will read that now. Fakach et einaiv halo ven da'at hu sha'alu et pi hu. Opened his eyes. Is he not a son of understanding, he? You ask his mouth. And so we come to 21c. We have a vav, he, vav, aleph. Yod, gimel, yod, dalet. Mem, he, yod, he, lamed, vav. And we read it. Vehu, and he. Yagid, will tell. It is will because we have a yod in front, meaning he will tell. But it already told us he, so we won't bother with including that. So, and he will tell me, which can mean what, ha-ya, was, and translate generally what happened. Lo, meaning to him, with again the vav being him. Ask his mouth, and he will tell you what happened to him. And so you can read that. Vehu yagid me haya lo. And he will tell what was or what happened to him. And now we come to 22a, represented with a kaf, 20, and a ve at the second letter of the alphabet, meaning its value is 2. And then we go through letters. Kaf, Zayin, Aleph, Tav, Dalet, Bayit, because the dot, Resh, Vav, Yod, Vav, Lamed, Dalet, Yod, Vav, Mem, Yod, Resh, Aleph, Tav, Mem, Sofit, Mem at the end of a word, Aleph, Tav, Hey, Yod, Hey, Vav, Dalet, Yod, Mem, Sofit, Kaf, and Yod. And what we notice is that certain letters have a different form when they're at the end. And that's why I keep telling you that. So we begin. Kazot, kazot, meaning like this. Dib, ru, they spoke. And this is third person. Yol Daev, his birthing parents. Remember that Yalad means to give birth, as we see here. And Nolad means to be born or was born. So it's related to that. The one who gave him birth, basically, his birthing parents. That's why often that'll be translated his parents, just to keep it short. Mi yir atam, from their fear. So we can see me meaning the mem is from, and yara meaning fear, and the tam at the end meaning them or their. From their fear, and I've added of, and then we have et, ha Yehudim, the Yehudim, which of course are the Jews, but we could say it's the religious elite. Not in general the Jews. Key, for. Right. So we also got yira here, meaning fear, terror, dread, or yareh. As a kol verb, it means to fear, to stand in awe. So his parents spoke like this due to their fear of the Jews. Since. Right. And now we can read that. Kazat. Dib ru. Yol daev. Mi yi a tam. So yiratam. Et ha Yehudim ki. Like this they spoke, his birthing parents, from their fear of the Yehudim. For. Now we come to part B. We have a Hey Yod, Hey Vav, Dalet, Yod, Mem Safit, Kaf, Fayet, Resh, Nun, Vav, Ayin, Zade, Vav, Lamed, Nun, Dalet, Vav, Tav, Aleph, Tav, Kaf, Lamed, Aleph, Shin, Resh, Yod, Vav, Dalet, Hey. And let's read it. Ha Yehudim, the Yehudim, the Jews, Kevar, already, no atso. So let's have a look at that one. They took counsel. If we look down here, we've got noats is a verb to consult with, to take counsel. And I've also given you nuda, but that'll come later. And then we go le na dot, to exclude. So that's when we get this. Nuda is a verb to be banished, to be excluded, and hoda is a verb to acknowledge, to admit. Well, that comes at the end, so we won't look at that. So le na dot, to exclude, et kol all ashir hu yodei. And of course it comes from hoda, which means to acknowledge, to admit. So that is its root, would acknowledge. Because of the yod, it's not a perfect form. So it is would acknowledge, all who would acknowledge. So since the Jews already determined to ostracize anyone who would admit, and ostracize doesn't sound as severe as exclude or banish. Right, so now we can read that. Ha Yehudim kevar no atsu le dot et kol ashir yodei. And I just wanted to emphasize that we say here generally kol, and that's using the kamatz rule that says that the kamatz becomes a short O sound in a closed syllable, meaning there's no vowel after the next letter. Right, so now we can move on. And the translation, the Yehudim, the Jews, already they took counsel to exclude or to banish all who would acknowledge. And so we come to part C. We have a kaf, yod, hey, vav, aleph, hey, mem, shin, yod, chet. And it is ki, that, who, he or he is, ha-ma-shi-ach, the Messiah. Again, a note is that when we have a patach like this, it is actually pronounced before the letter, whereas all the other vowel marks are usually spoken after the letter. So it was ostracize anyone who would admit that he is the Messiah. And so we read it. Ki hu ha-Mashiach. That he is the Mashiach, the Messiah. And so we turn to the next page. And we can see we've got a kaf 20, a gimel 3, the third letter of the alphabet. And then we have an ayin lamed, kaf, nun, sofit. Nun at the end of a word. Aleph, mem, resh, vav, yod, vav, lamed, dalet, yod, vav, bayet, nun, sofit, Dalet Ayin Tav Hey Vav Aleph Shin Aleph Lamed Vav Aleph Tav Pei Yod Hey Vav. Pei because there's a dot there. And then we go Al Kain, which can mean about so, and the translator is therefore. And this can be, again, the Kamatz rule, which we see is down here. The Kamatz rule above can be applied, which indicates that a Kamatz can be rendered as a short O sound in a closed syllable, usually the first. So therefore we can say Omru. They said, third person ending. Yol Daev, his birthing parents, Ben, son of Da'at, son of understanding or son of knowledge, who he is, Sha'alu, you asked, second person this time, et Pihu, his mouth. So therefore, for this reason, his parents said, he is a knowledgeable son, ask his mouth. And I've given you da'at as knowledge, intelligence, understanding, and pei, masculine noun, meaning mouth, orifice, or entrance. So now we can read that. And it is Al-Kain, Omru, Yoldaev, Ben, Da'at, Hu, Sha'alu, Et, Pihu. Therefore, they said, his birthing parents, a son of understanding he is, you ask his mouth. And then we come to 24, which is a calf. 20 and a dalet 4. And then we go through letters. Vav, Yod, Kuf, Resh, Aleph, Vav, Shin, Nun, Yod, Tav, Lamed, Aleph, Yod, Shin, Aleph, Shin, Resh, Hey, Yod, Hey, Ayin, Vav, Resh, Vav, Yod, Aleph, Mem, Resh, Vav, Aleph, Lamed, Yod, Vav. And now we read it. Va'yik, Re'u. And they called, root being kara, to call. But with the Vav and the Yod, it becomes a perfect form. And they called, and of course that's the Pharisees, right? Shenit mean a second time or secondly. La'ish, to the man. Asher, who. Haya, was. Iver, meaning blind. Vayomru, and they said, Eliv, unto him. And I've given you Shenit here, again, secondly, a second time. So the translation, they asked the man who had been blind a second time. They said to him, and so we can read that. Vayik re'u shenit la'ish asher haya iver vayomru eliv. And the translation, and they called the Pharisees, meaning a second time, to the man who was blind, and they said unto him. Just a note here, we've got two shavars in a row. So what that suggests is that the second one becomes a vocal shavar, which means it has a short E sound. So that's why it's vayik re'u. So it's a re'u. Okay, now we come to 24b. We have a tav, nun, safit, kaf, vet, vav, dalet, lamed, aleph, lamed, hey, yod, mem, safit, aleph, nun, chet, nun, vav, yod, dalet, ayin, nun, vav, kaf, yod, hey, aleph, yod, shin, hey, zayin, hey, chet, tet, aleph, hey, vav, aleph. And we read it. Tin, give. So it's like an imperative form. Give. Kavod, esteem. Lelohim, to Elohim. Anachnu, we. Yadanu, we know. Ki, that. Ha'ish, the man. Haze, this, chote. Now they've translated a sinner, but it could also be a man sinning, because it's like a participle form. And then who. And then we look down here, we have chata, which is a code verb to sin, to transgress. Then we have chet, masculine noun, a sin, an offense, a misdemeanor. And chot is a verb meaning sinning or to sin. So the translation, they said to him, give glory to Elohim. We know that this man is a sinner. So let us read that now. Ten kavod lelohim anachnu yadanu ki ha'ish hazeh chote hu. Give esteem to Elohim. We know that the man, this, a sinner he. Or, of course, sinning he. And then we come to Kaf 20, He 5, being the fifth letter of the alphabet. Vav Yod Ayin Nun Sofit. Vav Yod Aleph Mem Resh. Aleph Mem Sofit. Chet Tet Aleph. Hey Aleph Yod Shin. Lamed Aleph Yod Dalet Ayin Tav Yod Aleph Chet Tav Yod Dalet Ayin Tav Yod. And we read it. Va-ya-an. And he answered. Of course, the root there is ana with the hay dropped off. And he answered, Va-yo-mar. And he said, if chote, a sinner, or if sinning, or if he is sinning, ha'ish, the man, lo not, yadati, I do know. Again, it's not well, it is, but I know or I do know. Achat, one, and I've added thing, one thing. Yadati, I do know. And I've given you achat there, which is a feminine noun meaning one or once. He answered and said, if the man is a sinner, I do not know. The one thing I do know. And so we can read that. Vaya'an, vayomar, im chote, ha'ish lo, yadati, achat, yadati. And he answered, and he said, if a sinner, or if sinning, the man, not I do know. One thing I do know. And 25b, which is a kaf, yod, ayin, vav, resh, hey, yod, tav, yod, vav, ayin, tav, hey, nun, yod, resh, aleph, hey. Ki, which can mean that, there, blind, ha-yi-ti, I was, with its root haya, to be. The, ta, and now, hinni, behold, I am. The ni at the end is your pronoun, I am. Ro'e, seeing. One thing I know, that I was blind, now I see. And so, we can read that. Ki, ver, ha-yi-ti, ve'ata, hinni, ro'e. That blind I was, and now behold, I'm seeing. And now we return to our revision, just to see how we go in our translation. We know we have a kaf, which is 20, and a aleph, which is 1. We're in 21. Aval, but, lo, not, yadanu, we know. Ek, how, who, he is, ro'eh, seeing, ata, now. Velo, and not yada, nu, we know, me, who. But not we know how he is seeing now, and not we know who. Fakach opened et, grammar marker, einaiv, his eyes. Hello, is he not? Then a son of da'at, understanding or knowledge. Who? He? Sha'alu, you ask, et who? His mouth. Who opened his eyes is not a son of understanding he. You ask his mouth. Who? And he, Yagid, will tell me what, or this is may what haya was, or what happened lo to him. And he will tell what was or what happened to him. And then we have a calf, 20, and a vayet, 2. So we're in 22. Kazot, like this, dibru, they spoke, Yoldaev, his birthing parents, me year tam, from their fear, et, grammar ha, and you could probably add of there, ha Yehudim, the Yehudim, the Jews, ki for. Like this, they spoke, his birthing parents, from their fear of the Yehudim, the religious elite. For, then we have here, ha Yehudim, the Jews, ke var, already, no atsu, that they had taken counsel, le na dot, to exclude or banish, et kol, all, asher, who, or that, yo, they, would admit. The Yehudim already, they took counsel to exclude all who would acknowledge or admit. Key that, who, he is HaMashiach, the Messiah. That he is the Mashiach, the Messiah. And then we have a calf again, 20, Gimel 3, 23, Al-Kain, about so or therefore. Ru, they said, Yoldaev, his birthing parents, Ben, son of Da'at, son of understanding, or knowledge, who he is. Sha'alu, you ask, et who, his mouth. Now that becomes third person based on context. So that's how you have to work it out. Therefore, they said his birthing parents, a son of understanding, he. You ask his mouth. Then we have a calf 20, Dalet 4. So we're in 24. Vayik re'u, and they called. Shenit, secondly or a second time, la'ish, to the man, asher, that haya was, iver, blind, va'yomru, and they said, elev, unto him. And they called a second time to the man who was blind, and they said unto him, Tain, give, kavod, esteem, le'elohim, to Elohim, anachnu, we, yadanu, we know, ki, that, ha'ish, the man, hazeh, this man, chote, sinning, or a sinner. Who? He. Give esteem to Elohim. We know that the man this, a sinner or sinning he is. And then we have a kaf, which of course is 20 again, and a hey, the fifth letter of the alphabet is 5. Vaya'an, and he answered, Vayomar, and he said, if chote sinning, ha'ish the man, lo not yada ti, I do know. Chat, one, or one thing, yada ti, I do know. And he answered, and he said, if a sin of the man not, I know. One thing I do know. Ki that, ver blind, hayiti I was, ve'ata, and now, hinni, behold, I am, ro'e, seeing. That blind I was, and now, behold, I am, seeing. And that brings us, of course, to our vowel marks, just to make sure we understand them, that a kamas is a longer sounding A, as we see when we read the word, kamas. And then we have patak, which is a shorter A, zere, a longer E sound, segol, short E sound, shava, we know, breaks up the word into its various syllables. And then we have cholam, the O sound, shuruk, a short U, kubutz, a bit longer U, and then we have a combination of shavar and segol, called a kataf segol. Then we have chirek, the I sound, and then we have a combination again, which is called a patak, chataf patak. And then we have also a combination of shavar and kamatz, called a kataf kamatz. And finally, we just look at the chart of the values of the letters, plus we also have our resources here, because we want to really encourage you, if you're going to practice, to use those resources. But for now, let's go through a few of the letters randomly so that we begin to understand the values of the letters. Kaf is 20, Gimel 3, Chet 8, Samek 60, Tav 400, Kuf 100, Mem 40, Yod 10, Tet 9, Dalet 4, Lamed 30, Nun 50, and Resh 200. And so that brings us once again to the end of this lesson, and we do pray it is a blessing. We just also want to wish you a Shavua Tov, which is a good week, in the name of our Master and Savior Yeshua. May you have a blessed week.